What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome back to episode part, whatever you want to call it, 3, the third realistic rebuild on the channel. I had no idea who I was going to do. There's been a lot of news in the National Football League about what's going on. I mean, you have Ben Roethlisberger's going down for the years at the end of his career. That could be a very interesting rebuild. You have the Saints is at the end of Drew Brees' career. Like, there's just a lot of stuff going around right now in the National Football League. But literally, when I was getting ready to sit down and record an episode, the Giants announced that Daniel Jones was going to be their new starter at quarterback. And I was like, you know what? This is a team that desperately needs a rebuild. They're a good team to look at rebuilding. There's a lot to work with. So I said, fine, let's do the Giants. As an Eagle fan, a little bit weird, but this is going to be a very interesting rebuild. And you know what? Because I've grown as a football fan. Whereas before, when I just started watching, I hated anyone and everyone on the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, and the Washington Redskins. And now that I've kind of grown and matured as a football fan, I can like guys on the Giants. I can like guys on the Redskins. I still hate every single person on the Dallas Cowboys. But, I mean, Saquon Barkley, big fan, huge fan. He was amazing in college football. Low-key, I've been a supporter of the Daniel Jones selection as a prospect. I'll never ever get behind where he was selected in the first round at pick 6, but in terms of quarterback prospects, people like has as good of a chance to succeed, I honestly think, as like a Dwayne Haskins, as a Kyler Murray, as any of these quarterbacks that get one ahead of him. Maybe less so than Kyler Murray, but a lot of people are thinking Daniel Jones clearly is like the worst first round pick of all time, when in reality there is a lot of potential and upside there. He flashed a little bit in the preseason. We're actually going to make him our captain. He flashed a little bit in the preseason. Obviously, it's the preseason, going up against vanilla defenses and stuff like that, but there's talent there. And while it's going to take, I think, a little bit for him to grow and develop into a talent, I mean, people are acting like he's going to be the second coming of Mitchell Trubisky, which I don't think is the case. So, yeah, let's take a look here at this Giants roster as we get ready for a 15-year rebuild. I did talk about maybe knocking this down to 2 5-year rebuilds. We'll stick at 15. It just might not be as frequent. Like right now, you'll get, like right now it's Tuesday, right? So you get episode 1 on Tuesday, you get episode 2 on Thursday, and then on Saturday or Sunday you get episode 3. Because I kind of want to add more videos, different content to the channel, it might not be bang, bang, boom, we're done the rebuild, moving on to the next one. Because it's 3 parts, there might be 2 or 3, maybe even 4 days between episodes, but I feel like that's good, because when I talked about moving this to a 10-year rebuild, people are like, man, I like the 15s, because you not only get to see like where Saquon Barkley is near the end of his career, but the guys and random players that we're able to draft and generate, we also get to grow and develop them as well. And I think that is kind of fun. I ultimately have to come back to the P.L. Mullins. P.L. Mullins was a random player. We like to focus on realistic stuff on the channel, but P.L. Mullins was hilarious, and it spawned the Mullins family, and that stuff wouldn't have existed if we kept everything purely realistic. So I feel like there's definitely a market for us to use some of these random generated players. Plus, I love dominating those drafts. It makes me feel good about myself. So we need to take a look here at this Giants roster. We'll have Eli here as a backup for, obviously, this season. But it's the Daniel Jones era. The front office, the coach, Shermer, has come and said he's going to be our starter. So we're going to be rocking and rolling. This is the rebuild, the realistic rebuild of the Giants. And we're starting with Daniel Jones as our quarterback. Now, he's a 68 overall with a normal dev trait. Not going to lie. I mean, he did get, I think, a point or two. He started like a 63 from the default rosters, and as the rosters got updated, he got some, overall boosts and stuff like that for the roster updates throughout his, pretty good performances in the preseason. So a 68 is not terrible. The dev trait does kind of suck, so hopefully we can get that going. Saquon Barkley is the best running back in Madden. No other way around it. He's unstoppable. He's God mode, and I hope he plays as well as usering him as he does in our sim, because we're going to be heavily relying on the sim here early on. We got Wayne Gallman Jr. I was a huge fan of him out of Clemson. Most people know Clemson is, I guess, my second college team, even though I don't like being one of those fans like, oh, that's my eighth college team. But outside of the Florida Gators, so this time and time again, because I have no allegiances really, I just like the Gators a lot. They're my team. In Canada, I like to have a single team in every conference, because it just seems like randomly we will get one conference game, one big conference game a week. So I was just like, man, I was getting tired of like missing all the Gators games. So Clemson probably is my second college team. Brian Dawkins went there. Orange is my favorite color if I had to be a chick for a moment and decide how I pick my favorite team. But anyways, Wayne Gallman was really, really good at Clemson. So I think he's going to be a healthy RB2 to Saquon Barkley. Hopefully we can get him a lot of touches. We have Golden Tate at wide receiver. He was complete garbage for the Philadelphia Eagles last season. I think a little bit of that was due to the Eagles mismanaging him. He's going to be solid. He'll be our slot wide receiver for now, but he's 31, so not really a long-term option. Sterling Shepard at 26 is probably the most talented wide receiver on this roster, but again, he's a slot wide receiver. So we kind of have an abundance here at that single position, but we don't have enough talent to really move on from one of these guys because they're still probably better than whoever we could fetch in a trade. Jones has been like, a guy that bounced around a bunch of teams. Latimer hasn't really lived up to the hype after he had an insane pro day and got selected by the Denver Broncos. We have Corey Coleman and Darius Slayton. I think this was actually arguably the best pick the Giants made during the draft. I thought he was super underrated. I think if he stayed a year, he was a surprise draft declare for an underclassman. I thought if he stayed one more year at Auburn, he could have been, second, maybe not second, but third or fourth round pick, improved his draft stock a little bit. I'm not going to lie, I'm probably going to pigeonhole him as our wide receiver 3. Put him ahead of someone like Corey Coleman. At tight end, we have Evan Ingram. He's going to develop nicely at 24. He has a star dev, which is fine. I mean, we haven't even been looking at the devs here. So we know Saquon, superstar, right? Yeah, what's his X Factor ability? What do we got here? First one, free. Okay, that's pretty good. Wayne Gallman, normal or star? Just a normal for him. I don't know how the dev traits would have been. I know the Eagles got pretty unfavorable dev traits. Now, I don't know from everyone else that's not a Cowboys team if their dev traits also suck. Never really matter what Golden Tate's is because he's old. But Sterling Shepard with a star, that's fine. Do any of these wide receivers have I don't think any of these guys have a generous one. Rhett Ellison, probably the worst contract on this team, after Nate Solder, so we're going to have to try to get rid of his deal as soon as possible. We've noticed Nate Solder here at left tackle. I mean, he is as average of a starting tackle as you can get in the National Football League, and given what the Giants have had, going back to Eric Flowers, that's a big upgrade, but that contract is hideous, absolutely hideous, and hopefully we can cut him sooner than later, much like Ellison, much like Eli Manning, and have a lot of salary cap to build this team through free agency. Will Hernandez was an outstanding pick out of UTEP, 80 overall. He's going to be a franchise player on our offensive line. Center is garbage. You have Halapo, who's average at Florida. I can say as a Gator fan, but Gator made, man, Gator made. Zeitler, who they traded for, was he in the Odell trade? I feel like he wasn't in. He was in the trade for Olivier Vernon, I believe. He is actually a superstar ability. I don't know what it is, but he was a pretty solid offensive lineman last year for the Browns. He's 29, so hopefully with that star dev, he doesn't regress too bad. I actually like this pick of Asafo Ajay out of Kentucky. He had an insane pro day, huge bench press, everything like that. We might be able to develop him into something. Mike Remmers at right tackle, garbage. Defensive side, so we got Dexter Lawrence. Now, this is where I'm confused. If you're running, you're this scheme here, right? Why is Dexter Lawrence not your nose tackle? We're gonna mix this up here because Dexter Lawrence absolutely should be a nose tackle. He's 340 pounds. And while he is incredibly explosive, come on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take Tomlinson. I'm gonna make him a left defensive end. We got Derek Nottie. We can make him a right defense. I mean, that kind of gives us a little bit surplus requirement because B.J. Hill is not necessarily a player we want to give up on. But what's his dev trait? Does he just have normal? He just has a normal dev trait. He's 23. We actually may be able to try. They're both the same age. 1 point difference, but Nadi has the star dev, so he will be our starter. And I don't know what we're going to do with B.J. Hill. Maybe we try to find a trade partner for him. Or he'll just be really good depth. Either or. He's fine. Linebacker, we have Lorenzo Carter. Lot of athleticism for us to work with and try to develop. Middle linebacker, we have Bengals' favorite middle linebacker, Alec Ogletree. Bengals gone on record saying he's the most elite linebacker in the National Football League. I trust him. Hey, I trust him. I'm an outsider looking into the Giants. If he says he's the best linebacker in the National Football League, then who am I to disagree? I mean, did you see how many picks he had last year? This guy's amazing. How is he only 71 overall? Cowboy bias, am I right? Right outside linebacker, we're going to go with Zimenez out of Old Dominion. I thought this was a fairly solid pick. He was a guy that was, insanely productive. His limited as an athlete, didn't test particularly well in the offseason, but we'll see if we can grow and develop him over, say, someone like Marcus Golden, who really only had one big year with the Cardinals, and since then, not a whole lot. In the secondary, I need to actually hit the waiver wire here. We made some cuts to fill out the depth here, but DeAndre Baker and Grant Haley can get the job done. Sam Beal was, is he even playing? What's going on? He doesn't even have a face in Madden. And they use a fairly high, whatever that draft is. The it's not the comp draft, not the supplemental draft pick on him out of Western Michigan. I was thinking about making Julian Love, moving him back to corner, but we'll have him start at free safety right now. Strong safety, Jabril Peppers, coming from the Odell trade. He should be actually a monster at 23. He has a star dev. What is Julian Love? 70 normal. Do we have any generous dev traits on the defensive side of the ball outside of our defensive line? I don't think so, but Haley and DeAndre Baker should be able to grow and develop together. Jimenez, just normal. Lots of bronze here on this defense. That kind of stings. But Dexter Lawrence does have a hidden dev trait. It's most likely probably going to be a star, but there's a chance he's a superstar. He's amazing. He's actually very, very good. Rosa is solid kicker. Our special teams unit actually is not too shabby. So, hey, let's get into the realistic rebuild. Our first 5 years with the New York Giants. And, I think we've won almost a Super Bowl in the first 5 years of the first 2 realistic rebuilds. Don't know if that's going to be the case here with the Giants. It's more so about building and laying the foundation for the last 10. Before we get into the season, let's make a little bit of a trade because we are a team that is in a rebuild. Let's move on from our veteran players, try to acquire guys that may be out of scheme, out of fit. So we're able to send Janoris Jenkins, who still is a very solid corner. Antoine Bethea was a leading tackler on the Giants last season. 2 guys that can help a team right now to the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that is very much primed for a Super Bowl run, that we're weak at these 2 areas. And we're able to flip him for former second-round pick Derek Nottie, who with Steve Spagnuolo going there, no longer a scheme fit, is more of a nose tackle, and will give us the luxury to put Nottie at nose tackle. We could have Dalvin Tomlinson at one defensive end spot and Dexter Lawrence at the other. So a very good young defensive line that we can grow and build around. We're able to finally make a trade with BJ Hill, who's surplus requirement, but still a nice asset. So we're able to send BJ Hill and a 4th-round draft pick to the Minnesota Vikings for Holton Hill, probably related distantly, and a 3rd-round pick. So obviously, at face value, Hill is better than Hill, but we desperately need another corner on our roster. We're kind of, it's a little bit of starvation. Holton Hill is only 22, so there's a good chance, and we got an upgrade in draft picks. So maybe if you viewed the first trade, we made a little bit one-sided. This one here, we definitely gave up more than what we're getting, but it makes the most sense for our roster. So as we come out of the bye here in year 1, 4-6 is not bad, I don't think, for the New York Giants. I mean, we are bottom dwellers in the NFC East. We should be able to catch up on the Washington Redskins. I think from a roster standpoint, fairly similar. Might give the slight edge to the Redskins there. But not a horrible start to the Daniel Jones era. As we can see, he's 4th in passing yards, 10th in touchdowns. I'll take that. I'll take that for a guy that's a laughingstock of the league. Look at that contract first. We got Rosas, who's one of the better young kickers in the National Football League. So let's lock him up long term here. That is actually fairly expensive. Can we knock that down just a tad? How about that? 5-year deal, 21. Oh, come on. Beyond that, though, there's a lot of dudes that we just don't really care about, to be completely honest. Like, Grant Haley's solid. Is he worth $3 million? It's not bad. If he takes that, we'll resign him. Garrison, he wants more money. Really, we're gonna be shedding a lot of fat here, trimming a lot of fat for the Giants. So there you go. I mean, do we really need to spend that kind of money? He's a good kicker, but the kickers really matter. Not really. You can pretty much win a Super Bowl. I've made sure most of the Super Bowls I've won, my kicker's like a rookie that's like 71 overall. And at the end of year 1, we finished with a Week 17 victory over the Philadelphia Eagles, 27-24. Still bottom dwellers in the NFC East, but that helps us, at least for our draft pick. Looking at the stats, Daniel Jones, 3,700 passing yards, 26 touchdowns to 9 picks. Well, let's compare that to some of the other rookies. How are we looking here? Washington, Dwayne Haskins didn't even sniff the field. Guess Alex Smith using some stem cells or something like that to get on the field. Any other rookie quarterbacks? Like, literally, I don't know why I'm brain farting right now. That's just what happens. I don't think there's any other rookie quarterbacks outside of the man up there in Arizona, which, yeah, and what did he do? Kyler Murray, 35, 28, and 5. So realistically speaking, Daniel Jones, not much worse than Kyler Murray. So there you go. Through 1 year, looking positive. Running the ball, we got 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns for Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones was able to scramble a little bit. Wayne Gallman vultured 8 touchdowns away from Saquon. It is what it is. Receiving, Golden Tate, nice safety net, nice veteran presence for Daniel Jones as a rookie. 78 catches, almost 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. Ingram was solid. Shepard was fine. He did get a dev trait boost as a scenario, which is cool. Superstar, best talent, most talented guy we got. Saquon did a lot. Darius Slayton, not too bad for a rookie. Looking at the defense, offensive line, we're not even going to look at that. Alec Ogletree, remaining one of the most elite linebackers in the National Football League. 109 tackles, 6 TFLs, 3 sacks. We signed Sua Cravens off the street. I think he's going to emerge into a very nice utility weapon for us. 108 tackles, 8 TFLs, 2.5 sacks. Dexter Lawrence as a rookie, 55 tackles, 13 TFLs, 6 sacks from the nose tackle spot. He is going to be a monster. He's going to be probably the face of this defense. You know, you might think on paper it's going to be Jabril Peppers, or if you already think it's Alec Ogletree, but I think Dexter Lawrence, he's going to be a guy that's going to grow up into the 90s. Tomlinson was solid, 5.5 sacks. Would I like to see a little bit more production out of Noddy, as you know, we did get rid of Jack Rabbit to bring him in. Holton Hill, who made the moves, actually led the team in picks with 3, you know, making some pretty good, at least making that trade with the Vikings look a little bit better. Haley, who we were able to come to a long-term deal with, I think over 3 years, got 2 picks. He was fairly solid. I will say right now, Rosas, you know, you might look at him and it's like, oh, you got to keep your best players. Look, he had 52% field goal percentage. I don't care what your rating is. I don't care what your dev trade is. That is not giving you a brand new, expensive, probably highest paid kicker in the league contract. So you gone. With that being said, let's get into the offseason and start the rebuild of the Giants. Forgot for end of the season awards, Marcus Mariota is your MVP. Lots of Dallas Cowboys there, looking kind of weird. Offensive player, you went to Dak Prescott. Ugh, come on. We had no one. Defensive player went to Khalil Mack. No Giants. Offensive rookie, they went to Kyler Murray, just edging out Daniel Jones. That would have been huge for Daniel Jones to get that, because it might have been a dev trade increase. He's still sitting at a normal, which is not great. Hey, Darius Slayton, number 9. Cool. Defense rookie, they went to Byron Murphy with Dexter Lawrence at 3, DeAndre Baker at 4, Love at 9, Zimenez at 10. I mean, we're playing a lot of rookies like we are. I was expecting those kind of numbers. I don't think we're going to have any other award winners, which we do not, but that kind of stinks. Daniel Jones having a good year. Damn near great year for a rookie quarterback. And we're probably not going to give him a dev trade. That's going to sting. Free agency period, we have a whole lot of money to sign, but we're more so going on the depth side, getting scheme fits. Rochelle, Jaleel Johnson, Justin Evans, and Deshaun Davis. Kind of low bidding and low balling on all of them outside of Jaleel Johnson, so I'm not going to be over optimistic if we land him. But we're going to try to splash a little bit here at right tackle. Jack Conklin, formerly of the Tennessee Titans, hit the market. We're going all in on a bid, 10 points higher. I mean, we've had terrible luck here in Madden 20 with trying to land free agents, so I have no real optimism that we can bring him in, but we are paying him top dollar, and it would be a massive, massive improvement to our offensive line. Doesn't matter. Like, we straight up, we're never going to get our top targets. It's I don't know. Who got him? What was the deal that got him? We gave him a 108-point bid, and he ended up going, where'd you go? Redskins? Oh, the Cardinals coming in with a 101-point bid. Huh. All right, we're going to bring it to you live. We have the 5th overall pick here in the first round. Clock is a ticking. So we have our quarterback we feel good about. I mean, we have our best, we have running back, Jerry Jeudy. We have yet to use him in a rebuild. He could be awesome. It's the first time we have him available. Offensive line probably should be paramount. All these guys here are legit. Guard, we're good. At center, Bidaj, Hansen, Nick Harris, all solid centers. Right guard, we have Zeitler for the time being. I guess we could put Bredesen and Darrell Williams on the short list. At right tackle, Trey Smith, Wirfs, Sorrell, Throckmorton, Kramer, Van Lanen, Cleveland. Like, there's so much depth at right tackle. I feel like with, you know, we have Dan Feeney there for the time being. I just really... Okay, defensively, we're good. Our defensive line doesn't need to be touched, even though, my God, someone like Derek Brown would be insane, or Raekwon Davis. Linebacking core, we're good on both outsides. We're going to continue to try and develop Zimenez. We got any option, our pick at the elite linebacker. Dylan Moses coming off a knee injury. We have Troy Dye. Both those guys are solid, but I think Sua Cravens can develop, and we have some nice middle round options. Bocce, Woodward, Quarterman, Divinity. There's some good value there at linebacker. Willikis, kind of a scheme fit. I think he could play in a 3-4 as pretty much all these linebackers. Pretty much the first 4 outside linebackers could play in this scheme. Secondary, if any of these guys slip to the second round, I think we should be interested in them with a high pick. Free safety, we're good. Strong safety. You know, Isaiah Simmons would be an unreal middle linebacker, but again, we're going with Sua Craven's experiment. So for me, I think that we have the opportunity to bring in Jerry Jeudy. You know, you want to try to replace Odell? Get yourself some Jerry Jeudy. 79. I mean, he's a beast, man. He's as good of a wide receiver prospect as really there's been. Like, I'm not going to say he's the greatest because there's been some outstanding wide receiver. I remember my first year that I kind of started getting the draft. We saw Megatron at a Georgia Tech. Like, who watches Georgia Tech? And then at the Combine, this guy's a monster. And you look at the tape, it was pretty good. But honestly, this is like actually a good debate, is where does Jerry Jeudy really rank against some of the top wide receiver prospects that have come out? I think he's as good as probably Julio. Different types of wide receivers from the same school, but he's super. I think Amari Cooper was really hyped when he was coming out of Alabama as well. Put Jerry Jeudy right next in line. Hold A to reorder. Anyways, here we have our draft recap after landing Jerry Jeudy. We got Foster Storell in the second round, right tackle from Stanford, 68 with a hidden dev trade. He's going to start right away. Third round, we got Jake Hansen, center from Oregon, 68 hidden dev trade. He's going to start right away. Third round, kind of thinking down the line here. Hopefully we can develop Mekhi Beaton. He was a second round grade, still slipped there. Can be groomed to be the eventual successor to Nate Solder. Fifth round, we got Marcus Bailey, middle linebacker from Purdue, coming off a knee injury. Still a very, very solid draft pick. I think we can grow, and maybe, you know, when the time comes that Ogletree's moving on, Bailey can emerge as that second linebacker in the middle of that 3-4. We got special teams 6th and 7th round. We got Braden Mann, 70 overall punter at A&M, and then Rodrigo Blankenship, the nerd alert kicker from Georgia, 67. And then we finished up here by getting Bradley Anai, outside linebacker, edge from Utah. He plays defensive end for Utah, 63 overall. More so just some solid depth. But it's all about the Jerry Jeudy show and getting 2 new starters on our offensive line here in the first draft for the New York Giants. Year 2 for our Giants team, and after an insane draft, we're looking pretty good. We got some roster spots we will be able to fill out here on the waiver wire to see what kind of value is there. But this squad is looking pretty beefy. I still think it is paramount that we get Daniel Jones a dev trade increase at some point. I feel like, you know, hopefully 2 years as a starter, we'll get one of those engaged. Did Golden Tate get a dev trade increase last year? No, maybe he just has a start. I was being an idiot. But yeah, we bring in Jerry Jeudy. We also got a dev trade increase throughout the regular season for Darius Slayton. So, I mean, that's a long-term play right there. When Golden Tate moves on, having Jerry Jeudy and Darius Slayton on the outside, Sterling Shepard in the slot, that sounds pretty goddamn good. On the offensive line, Jake Hansen is going to be our starting center. Foster Storell will be our starting tackle for a offensive line that really, you know, 3/5 of it should be, you know, the majority of this offensive line for the rebuild to grow and develop. Defensively, not a whole lot of changes here. A lot of rust. We're gonna call that rust color, not brown, not bronze or anything like that. It's a lot of rust here on the defensive side of the ball. Strength is obviously the front 3: Noddy, Lawrence, and Tomlinson, all with star devs, and they, you know, hopefully Noddy catches up and gets into the 80s. Young secondary though: Holton Hill, DeAndre Baker, Grant Haley. Those guys can grow and develop. Jabril Peppers also can definitely grow and develop. Linebacking core, it's a work in progress. Pretty much need to hope that Lorenzo Carter, Zimenez, and Cravens can continue to develop, as Julian Love at free safety. Special teams, going with the all rookies here in Mann and Blankenship. Let's just stay healthy. We haven't had very much to do with injuries. I don't even think anyone missed much significant time last year with injuries. So hey, let's have a strong year, and let's, you know, we're not overly optimistic we're gonna make a playoff run. I honestly think the biggest goal this year is to get Daniel Jones a dev trade increase. Coming up from the bye in year 2, we're 5-4, which, I mean, because, you know, Dallas is Dallas. We're second in the NFC East, so pretty good turnaround. Quick peek at Daniel Jones, top 10 quarterback. So that's good. That's great. Still no dev trade scenario. Very annoyed with that. But we have a lot of salary cap here. So first up, we have Evan Ingram wants a 4-year deal, keeping him in New York till he's 29. Joel Peppers wants a 5-year deal to keep him here until he's 29. That is great, locking up a lot of our young talent. Dalvin Tomlinson, let's get him locked up. He's a star. We'll have to come back and negotiate. Holton Hill made a trade with the Vikings. Don't want to let him walk. I mean, if you guys have paid attention, I always try to make it paramount that we maintain our in-house good talent, you know, versus letting them walk and maybe spend elsewhere in free agency. So we'll make sure we can hammer out a deal with Dalvin Tomlinson to keep that young front 3 together. Other than that, man, that is a lot of young guys on both sides of the ball locked down for a significant period of this series. That's good. That's good news. That's a good thing. And at the end of year 2, we lost our last 2 games, which I think is the difference maker. Well, maybe not. Let's see. We would have had, where are the Giants at? 9, 10. We would have had 11 wins. Well, potentially had 11 wins, which would have snuck us into the playoffs. It's knowing that we're tied for first team out. The Redskins made it over us with a tie. But we're getting some early success here. Daniel Jones, look at that. 3,800 yards, 32 touchdowns, 9 picks. What does this man have to do to get a dev trade increase? I don't know, but he's playing well. He's playing well. He's not developing too bad. I mean, he's still not in the 80s yet. But given the fact that 2 years ago he was 68 overall, he's playing well. He is playing well. Saquon, 1,400 yards, 8 touchdowns, real productive. And we are getting some scrambling ability here from Daniel Jones. On the receiving front, Golden Tate, 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. We got 704 for Jeudy, who, drumroll please, emerged as a superstar X Factor. Not surprised. He got double me. He's an absolute beast and pretty much got to replace Odell for the exciting wide receiver in this offense. Ingram was solid. Shepard was solid. Saquon out the backfield. Dangerous as always. Defensively, Sua Cravens on the team with 106 tackles. 4 TFLs, a sack, and a pick. We got 6 sacks from Noddy, 5.5 Zimenez, 4.5 Ogletree, Dexter Lawrence. A lot of TFLs. Still pretty good year for a nose tackle there. Picks down, though. Defense did not really play that well. Yearly award, Zeke Elliott got himself an MVP award. In the NFC, offensive player of the year went to Ezekiel Elliott. Daniel Jones coming in at number 8. Defensive player of the year went to Fletcher Cox. We had no one. Offensive rookie of the year went to Justin Herbert with Jerry Jeudy coming in at number 3. Doesn't really matter. Already has the X Factor. Kenny Robinson of the Eagles got defensive rookie of the year. God damn, Eagles playing lots of young bucks out there on the defense side. QB went to Herbert with Daniel Jones at 5. Zeke at running back. I don't think we're going to have any of these award guys. We don't usually. Very annoying, but a tie is the thing that is holding us here in year 2, the second year that Daniel Jones here for making the playoffs. So that should have some optimism as we head into the offseason and get ready for year 3. We were quiet in free agency. There just wasn't really much in terms of upgrades. So in the draft at pick 19, we bring in Micah Parsons, the former 5-star recruit. He already has 2 more out hit. Really did not want to come here. Why? Get Saquon. Come on. Penn State. But he's a great-looking middle linebacker that should pair very nicely with Cravens. We did move on from Alec Ogletree in the offseason because he had like a $9 million cap hit. He was like a 71. So Parsons, 85. I mean, he's great. And I actually think he was recruited as like a defensive end. So he brings some solid pass rushing ability. Get a lot of like Hassan Riddick vibes. Hopefully he plays a little bit better than Hassan Riddick has for the Cardinals. Second round, we get Anthony McFarland Jr., very dynamic running back out of Maryland. We were unable to re-sign Wayne Gallman, so to not just put all the burden on Saquon Barkley and run him to the ground, McFarland should be able to spot him in some relief duty. We got Anoma, outside linebacker from Alabama. In real life, I think he actually is in the portal right now, transferring away. I think he wants to go to Maryland, but still a good scheme fit. Big outside linebacker that fits this 3-4. We got Trey Hill, center from Georgia. Sam Hartman, quarterback from Wake Forest. Showed it to the QB1. He was in the 2nd or 3rd season of QB1. He's going to be the backup here for Daniel Jones, and then just really finishing up here some depth. And we actually get Kelvin Joseph, another player that currently, even though it says he's at LSU, I think he's in the portal, so I don't know where he's going to end up going. So that is what it is. But, we got a brand new starting middle linebacker, Micah Parsons, who should fit in very nicely for this defense. Year 3, we're going to start off from the preseason. Daniel Jones getting a little attribute boost here up to an 80, so that's a great starting point for him. I mean, throw power is not. He looks good. This looks like a great quarterback prospect. So our team, I mean, revenge. We were a tie away from making the playoffs last season, so optimism is high that Pat Shurmur can get these guys into the playoffs. On the offensive side, I mean, we did bring in McFarland to replace Wayne Gallman. How are we going to line up at wideout? I mean, Golden Tate's still solid, man, but it is the Jerry Jeudy show. We pretty much should make Jerry Jeudy our wide receiver 1 at this point. Superstar X Factor on the offense. Will Hernandez is developing nicely. We're actually going to make Beaton the new starter. Hanson, 80 overall. Zeitler still holding on to his rating exceptionally well. Sorrell, 75 tackle, coming nicely. Evan Ingram should break into the 90s this season. We actually might, and also get a 99 for Saquon. Defensively, still a work in progress, but that front 3 is good. The secondary, Holton Hill, got a dev trade boost up to an 81 overall. When did that come? There we go. Super Bowl week. Got a star dev, so that is cool. Even though I'd much rather that go to my quarterback, as did Zimenez. Zimenez got himself a star dev, so that is great. Don't know why they got it, but they did. Linebacking core, we have Sua Cravens there. We're going to make Parsons the second linebacker, our first round pick. Lorenzo Carter should get into the 80s this year. Peppers will be into the 90s. It's a great young defense, man. It's a great core. We're going to try to keep pretty much everyone you see on this screen together for as long as humanly possible because they're going to grow and develop fairly good. So there we go. Year 3, Revenge Tour. That's Daniel Jones Revenge Tour. So year 3, which was titled as the Daniel Jones Revenge Tour. Ew. Hey, we're going to have a high pick. Yeah, that's cool. Saquon. 5-year deal. Yep. You're our offense. I'm going to have to make sure we bring you back. We don't have a replacement for Zeitler yet, so a 1-year deal is fine by me. He's not regressing at all. Will Hernandez, probably the most valuable player on our offensive line, so we'll make sure we can extend him. Derek Notty's kind of a slow developer here. That's a reasonable deal if we can keep it under $30 million, which he does agree to. Lorenzo Carter, outside linebacker here, $22 million for 4 years. That's also fairly affordable. That is a great contract if Sua Cravens takes that. That's a robbery. I mean, we do have some solid depth here. Most of that can be replaced through the draft, so we'll make sure we can hammer out a deal with Will Hernandez. Clearly, we're not letting Saquon Barkley go. Worst case scenario, we have to tag him, but we should be able to extend him to a 5-year deal. And, yeah, maybe we still have some extra Skrilla to spend in free agency in this offseason. At the end of pretty much a toss-away year, of course, we would find a way to win like 3 in a row to just make our draft pick not great. We still should have a top 10 draft pick. I mean, we got Saquon up to a 99, which is kind of cool. That's one of the big dubs. We give him those fancy gold cleats. Those are definitely the best ones. We'll auto-spend it. And actually should have just held it there because we only got one dev trait scenario boost. It was a good one. We were able to get Dexter Lawrence up to a superstar, and he's 3 points away from getting some cool abilities. But, Parsons come out as a star dev. He's a 78. I mean, we should have done better, man. This team needs to. And again, I feel like we're gonna be stuck between a rock and a hard place with Daniel Jones. He's playing well, but the dev trait's not there. So is he ever truly gonna be elite? I don't know. Statistically speaking, it was okay. 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 picks. It's okay. It's the definition of okay. You're not gonna get a dev trait increase with that. 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns from Saquon. On the receiving front, 900 and almost 1,000, 2 yards away from 1,000 for Golden Tate. He's been playing very well. Jerry Jeudy, 850 and 5, 630 and 5 for Ingram. Shepard was fine. Saquon was fine. Defensively, Sua Cravens, pretty big year. 109 tackles, 10 TFLs. We got 4 now. Sacks are down. Picks are okay. I want to double check something here. Because we did a rebuild on the weekend of the Panthers. And they were running a 3-4. And their coach was running a 4-3. So what's Shermer's defense? It's a 3-4. Okay, so why is it not working? Why are we not? Is it just impossible to get sacks on a 3-4? Like, that's so annoying. I've never had success with it. Yearly awards, Lamar Jackson is your MVP. In the NFC, Russell Wilson's there. Saquon at number 8. Defensive player of the year went to Blake Martinez. Offensive rookie went to Justin Fields. New quarterback there for the Bears. Moving on from Trubisky, Farland at 6. Defensive rookie of the year went to Ben Davis. Parsons at 5. And I don't think we're going to have any of these dudes, which we do not. So year 3, supposed to be the revenge tour. Played like dog shit. Let's get into year 4. So pick number 6, really, it's tough where we want to go. Like in terms of weaknesses, I mean, our defense is good. Alfano's probably the best value for scheme fits, but doesn't make. I think while he's been good, while Sua Cravens has been good, we can do a little bit better at linebacker. I think someone like Popo could come in. He's outstanding. Could come in middle linebacker, be an upgrade. He's 21, so he's going to be our selection. Owen Popo out of Auburn, 77, hidden dev trait. Can pretty much play all over the defense, but for me, with my money, that guy there, that's a new middle linebacker. Another boring free agency period that we did want to get our hopes up by trying to land a star. We got Popo, who we're actually going to probably slide inside, so that's back-to-back first-round picks at middle linebacker. We're trying to shore that up because, let's be honest, Giants have not had. When was the last time Giants had a good linebacker? Forever. It's been forever. Second round, we got Kaiir Elam out of Florida, 69 overall. He also came in with a hidden dev trait. We got Tutele from Washington, nose tackle. Brenton Cox, the 5-star transfer from Georgia, now going to Florida. He's 67. We got Brock Purdy. My God, C4. Persian guys, maybe one of the better quarterback prospects. Who made this draft class? What an idiot. Then we got Realist George, the fullback from Miami, 66 overall. So hopefully Pavot doesn't take too big of a regression when we move him to middle linebacker. And there you go, man. Sua Cravens, Arizona. Maybe we can try to find a way to trade Sua Cravens for some added value. We're able to find a trade partner for Sua Cravens, and that is the Raiders. Bringing over Trayvon Mullen, another Clemson player. Kind of becoming a pipeline here for the Giants. If Alabama is the pipeline for the Redskins, kind of coming Clemson here for the Giants. That was a very nice trade. Works out well for both parties. Year 4, please don't be garbage for the Giants. 89 offense, 83 defense. You know, we still got Golden Tate holding on here. We're probably going to actually move Slayton. We're going to make Jeudy our wide receiver 1. Change on the offense outside of that. I mean, we're seeing some great development on our offensive line. Hopefully we can get beaten into the 80s. Zeitler's regression has been as good as like any regression I've seen, which is dope. Daniel Jones, 82. I mean, 85 has been in Madden's past, like the threshold for a quarterback to play really good, take his game to the next level in the sim, but he's been okay. It's not like he's had any down years, even though this is year 4. Sometimes it can be weird. We have a new superstar dev trade player in Dexter Lawrence manning the center of this defense. Popo and Parsons give us really across the board one of the best football ahead of them, entering their prime linebacking cores in the National Football League. We got Peppers into the 90s. Julian Love at some point last season got a dev trade increase. Or at least, yeah, they're Super Bowl week, so that's cool. We'll take that added points. We got Hilton Hill is actually looking pretty damn good, up to an 84. Baker, 81. We have Grant Haley and Trayvon Mullen, the man we just traded for. We'll actually give Trayvon Mullen some opportunities in the slot. So, hey, come on. Let's not be a top 5 worst team in the league this year. Let's bounce back. Much better start for the Giants, coming off a very early bye. We're 3-0. It's an incredibly hot start. Contracts, I want to try to get them early. So first off, we got Big Dex Lawrence, 3-year deal. Maybe make it a 5-year deal. How about that? Slap you with a 5-year deal, baby. Zeitler, 1-year deal. We'll keep eating that because he's not regressing at all. Make sure we can extend him. Daniel Jones, that's a lot of money. But it's the whole point of the rebuild. The reason why we're doing this rebuild is because Daniel Jones' name's the starter. That is 114 for a guy that's yet to show any signs of growing a dev trait. It is what it is, though. It's what we're committing for this rebuild. But we're spending a lot of money. Again, we haven't been spending in free agency, so we can really afford the luxury to do this. Julian Love, Darius Slayton are my other top 2 targets to re-sign, along with Daniel Jones and Zeitler on a 1-year deal. But my God, $114 million for Daniel Jones. I mean, that's kind of what quarterbacks go for, I guess, nowadays. In year 4, where it's really weird, more often than not, this was very weird. 13-3 out of nowhere for the New York Giants. And as always, to prove to you that we're keeping it on the straight and narrow, anytime something gets a little fishy, nothing going on behind the scenes. Just an unbelievable finish to the season. Week 10 on. First divisional title. First real winning season, to be honest with you. Everything was going on full cylinders here. We got offensively, Daniel Jones, top 10 QB. 3,700 yards, 33 touchdowns, 8 picks. Saquon was outstanding. McFarland was great. Receiving Jeudy, breakout season for an unbelievable prospect. 71 catches, almost 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, double-digit touchdowns for Sterling Shepard. Saquon was good. Slayton was fine. Ingram was good. Defensively, Holton Hill led the team, 102 tackles with 3 interceptions. We got 9 sacks from the rookie Owen Popo, 7 sacks, 17 TFLs from Thomas and Noddy was good. Zimenez was fine. Lawrence was fine. Parsons pretty good as well. So it's just, everyone's starting to put together. This young team is getting ready to peak. Dak Prescott is your MVP. Gross. Coach of the Year, Pat Shurmur. There we go. Helping us get some XP. Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC went to Cam Newton. Saquon at 4. Defensive Player of the Year went to Donald Payne of the Eagles. Okay. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Hazelwood for the Bucks. Realist George, our fullback. Anytime your fullback comes in the rookie rating list over Spencer Rattler, who's the best quarterback in the class, I think that's a win. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Owen Popo, who, can we see what his dev trade is? We'll find that out in just 1 second. QB went to Russell Wilson. Running back Saquon, already had the X Factor, not too worried about it. That's about it. Lots of Eagles, man. For the Eagles not being good, they got a lot of award winners. Individual success does not equal team success. So looking at our lineup here is we have our first round bye. We didn't have any scenarios trigger on the offensive side of the ball, which is a little bit weird. considering how well they played. On the defense, Popo comes out as a superstar dev linebacker. So that is awesome. That's great. That's phenomenal. But we didn't have any other dev traits trigger. So, I mean, for winning season, it was team success over individual success. It is what it is. I mean, we still have a chance when we get to championship week that someone, I mean, for the love of God, give Daniel Jones at least a star to help us out here as we find out who we're going to be taking on in the divisional round. It is going to be the 10-6 Saints. Let's do it, man. All right, I was on the fence whether or not I'm going to play this game or not. It's a snow game, so you know me. I'm going to sit on the bench for this one. So the Saints, always really good. They have Justin Herbert as their quarterback, so, you know, they are just, the Saints are kind of like the Oklahoma Sooners in Madden. They just shit out MVPs like the Sooners just shit out Heisman Trophy winners. We are pulling ahead here, though. I want to come in once. Even though it's a snow game, because I feel like a touchdown here could be able to ice this game off. See what Daniel Jones feels like. We got Jeudy. I want him to come across the field on a slant cheese. Don't slip. Don't slip. Don't slip. Great protection. Jeudy, corner of the end zone. That should be enough to get the Giants over the hump here. 35 points in the first half, but an instant touchdown from the Saints has me a little bit worried here, Mom Spaghetti. We are up 38-21. If we do choke this one, I'm going to be pretty damn upset. We got 45 points. Can we drop a 50 bomb? Drop the 50 bomb. We had enough respect not to drop the 50 bomb, I guess. Oh, no, we didn't. We flexed. Pat Shurmur flexed on him. Give Daniel Jones a dev trait. 205 rushing. Okay, Daniel Jones, 4 touchdowns. We got 205 yards from Saquon Barkley. Jeudy was insane defensively. We didn't get much in terms of sacks. Jabril Peppers got an interception. Clearly, when you give it 35 points, you're not playing well defensively, but offense is amazing. And this miracle run. Is there any, given the Giants, since I've been a football fan, they only ever make the 2 years they won Super Bowls. We're pretty much miracle runs. Can't we get another one here at Bruin? Well, we're 2 wins away from being Super Bowl champs. Okay, snow game here in the championship against the Panthers. Feeling... What? Why are we getting instant touchdown after instant? Is Saquon Barkley carrying this team again? Is he have 900 yards? Oh, man. Okay, that was not good. We were in the red zone and didn't get any points. Come on, get some points. There we go. 10-point lead in the second half. I feel fairly confident. I mean, this is kind of an improbable run. Our defense is playing well. And we got that lead going into the final quarter of the game. Super Bowl on the line. And we're up 16. 2 minutes to go. Up 8. Oh, they choked it. They choked. They're going to get that touchdown. Clearly, they're going to get a 2-point conversion. As they do. It's over. I'm not feeling overly optimistic right now. But a field goal wins it for the Giants. And even though they choked it horrendously in the second half, Saquon Barkley. My God. He's going to carry us to a Super Bowl. We're taking on the Colts and Dak Prescott in the Super Bowl. But who is going to stop Saquon? And obviously, it's Super Bowl. I'm going to hop in. We're going to play. So on the opening drive of the Super Bowl for the Giants, our defense got a stand. We're going to go slants cheese. Try to get it into Jeudy, which we do. He gets destroyed. How is that not a touchdown? 4th and goal. Now, Pat Shurmur was, he was in the Eagles, and we're gonna play with some balls like the Eagles. C4 special, Saquon, our best player. They got Devondre Campbell, a superstar linebacker, but I'm always gonna gamble that was 31 with the worst block of all time. I'm always gonna gamble Saquon in that scenario. Can't believe he whiffed on that block. All right, we're going back to the C4 special. As long as Realist George doesn't have an absolute nightmare of a block here, which he is just, what is going on?
That's it, baby.
Same formula. All right, let's go botch C4 special. They just try to slant cheese our way into the end zone. Do we get some protection? We do get a little bit. Man, that is pretty well blocked, and we fuck everything up by throwing a pick. Oh, Daniel Jones bounces back from the interception with a great play call, great execution, leading Sterling Shepard just enough for a 43-yard touchdown. Opening score in the game of this defensive battle comes right in the dying moments of the first half.
Mike 51. Focus, defense, focus.
Oh, Saquon's taking over. I mean, this is a guy. Oh, Caden Sturridge, he's bad. But this is a guy now. Saquon Barkley has over 500 yards in our 3 playoff games. Maybe the greatest running back playoffs. I don't want to call it series, playoff performances in history.
Ready? 60 or. It's game situation. Let's go. 5.
There we go. Got great blocking on the screen pass. The Giants were able to get a touchdown. Or sorry, the Colts were able to get a touchdown, but we're able to get our lead back here early in the third. All right, we sim defense, and our defense got a pick 6. Cool. And now we have the ball back. Close this one out. Sim does the job. Saquon, unbelievable. Like what? Almost 600 yards. Almost averaged 200 yards in every playoff game. Like, I don't know. That probably puts him ahead of Terrell Davis for like the greatest playoff run for a running back. But there is a Super Bowl in year 4 of 5 of part 1. Daniel Jones. I'm going to be honest. Daniel Jones is like, he's Eli Manning, right? He's a good quarterback, not really elite, but good enough, and wins the Super Bowl. I mean, Eli did have that huge play. We didn't really have any ridiculous plays, but I'm getting a lot of Eli Manning vibes. That's all I want to try to say with Daniel Jones as the Giants get their, I don't know, what's that, their 5th Super Bowl title? 4th or 5th Super Bowl title? I'm going to guess 5. So, I guess we could probably try and have a goal for this rebuild. Maybe take the all-time record over from the Steelers or whoever has it right now for the most Super Bowl titles. I feel like I'm probably blanking. Patriots tied 6 of the most. So let's try to get it with the Giants. Looking at the highlights here, but we got to get the hoist. We got to see if Daniel Jones gets to hoist that up. And maybe, just maybe, well, Saquon's clearly going to MVP. But with all the success, Daniel Jones, please, Madden gods, give me that dev trade increase so that we can hit year 5 and really start to grow and develop him as our quarterback. Because he's our $100 million man. Slanging that rock, trying to find, Sterling Shepard, Jerry Jeudy, and really just to glorify, hand the ball out to Saquon Barkley, and he can do what he does best. So we got Saquon, Micah Parsons, Jerry Jeudy, Daniel Jones up there on the podium as we are your Super Bowl champions. Winning it in Dallas's backyard feels that much more sweeter. Let's try to get another one here before part 1 of the rebuild is finished. Let's get into year number 5. See, quiet yet again, and I'm not gonna lie, I gotta get in. This is like my last draft class for real players. Yeah, I gotta make it a little stronger. It's kind of a weak class, but in the first round we got Dante Lucas, 71 guard from Florida State. He is gonna be hopefully the successor to Kevin Zeitler, who's really like the oldest player on our roster. We got G. Scott out of Ohio State, 67 overall, just normal depth, he's fine. And then just 2 depth guys on the defense. Quick turnaround though, year 5, let's get another Super Bowl. So year 5, as we look to defend our crown, here's how everything shapes up. He will not get a depth trait. He will not grow in depth trait. No one on offense has grown in depth trait. But our offensive line is looking really, really good. I mean, Giants haven't had an offensive line that good since they actually won a Super Bowl. So, very similar squad to what the Giants had last time they were really relevant. Defensively, I don't think we have a single depth trait growth here again. Ugh. I mean, Dex is up into the 90s. Popo very quickly going to be one of the best linebackers in football. He's an 88 superstar entering his 2nd season. Peppers is into the 90s. Holton Hill, low-key, might get in the 90s as well. So, lots of depth there on that defense. Just still not, I mean, come on. What do you got to do for Daniel Jones to even just give us a start, Coming off the Week 8 bye here in year 5. 5-2 are the Giants, sitting top of the NFC East, but Dallas is right there. It's going to be a competitive division. Daniel Jones, actually kind of not looking too hot right there. Look at contracts. It is time for our main man, Jerry Jeudy, to get himself a brand new deal. 4 years, $61 million for our superstar X-Factor wide receiver. Will Hernandez, like to lock you up till you're 30. That'd be great. Why is he such a stingy bastard when it comes to his contracts? Zeitler 1-year deal. Again, man, I've never seen a guy not regress as good as Zeitler. So we're going to have to come back and pay up a little bit more for our O-line. Sterling Shepard. Again, man, these guys don't really regress too bad. So let's see if we can get him. But we pretty much have to pay our entire offensive line. So everyone that does accept would be great. This means year 6, we are not going to have a whole lot of money to look at spending. Literally everyone on our offensive line needs a brand new contract. Tomlinson, he might have to be the odd man out here. You can't sign everybody. It's a lot of money for a guy that he's solid, started dead, but we haven't got a lot of production out of him at all. So I think when push comes to shove, we'll make sure that we can get Beaton back. We'll make sure that we can get Zeitler and Hernandez back. And I think odd man out, the first big name to really fall from that core group of guys we've had for this rebuild, I think might be Dalvin Tomlinson. But watch this, because he's in a contract year, he'll get like 12 sacks. For the final year of the episode, another divisional title, our second of the rebuild, just a game ahead of the Dallas Cowboys, a team I'm sure we'll probably find ourselves going up against in the playoffs. Daniel Jones was fine, 3,700 yards, 30 touchdowns, 9 picks. It's like a slightly less turnover-prone Eli Manning at this point. But look at that, that's a pretty good completion percentage too, 71%. We'll take that. Saquon, he's God. The running attack has been phenomenal. 10 touchdowns from McFarland as well. Sterling Shepard, 1,000 yards, 8 tutties. Slayton, 8 and 6, 6 and 3 from Jeudy. Ew. Defensively, Popo, outstanding, 110 tackles. We got 8 sacks, Zimenez, 8 from Carter. And for the picks, fine. I mean, it's just a strong, solid, well-rounded defensive performance. Justin Herbert got himself the MVP award. Coach of the Year. Pat Shurmur, back-to-back Coach of the Year awards. Okay. Justin Fields got Offensive Player of the Year. Saquon coming in at 7. Defensive Player of the Year went to Clowney. We had no one. QB, or rookies. What do we got? G. Scott at 6. Defensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, we drafted an offensive lineman, so I'm not expecting that. For individual awards, we had nothing whatsoever. I guess team success will always be paramount here for New York, as we find out that in the divisional round, we're going to take it on the 11-4-1 Kyler Murray-led Arizona Cardinals. All right, so I think it's fair to say the Giants might be the most overpowered sim team we've used in the Super Sim so far. Saquon has been, literally every game we've simmed, he's averaged like 200 yards. So, looks like that's running out. That luck is running out. Arizona starting to pile on a lead here. We got a nice little instant touchdown. Try to make this one a little bit more competitive before the second half kicks off. Down 6. It's a touchdown. There we go. Go ahead, score in the third quarter. We have that winning mentality now. That Super Bowl pedigree. Come on. Tied up 28 apiece. Fourth quarter, everything on the line. They get the field goal. We got 3 minutes to get a touchdown. Feed Saquon. Feed Saquon. Oh, we're going to tie it up, and they're going to go down the field. Oh, look at this. They got 3 timeouts. What are the odds they go down the field and score a touchdown without burning a single timeout? Or 3 and out, and the better clutch team kicks a field goal and still finds a way to lose the game. Awesome. Awesome. Saquon almost 200 yards again. Incredible. I haven't seen numbers like that since like Madden 18 Le'Veon Bell in the sim. So he's going to have probably like the best rushing yards. When all said and done, he's probably going to be the greatest playoff rusher of all time, the way that he's going. But very frustrating loss in year 5. Unable to defend our Super Bowl title. But at least we got a Super Bowl title, I guess, in this rebuild. The rebuild of the Giants, because Mr. Daniel Jones has been named the starter. But we still got 10 more years to go, 2 more episodes. So hope you guys did enjoy this. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. We'll be back here in a couple days for part 2 of the Giants realistic rebuild. And until that time, I'll catch you later. Peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit, well you talking and talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game, like who are you stopping? Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. I'm way too clever. Look at the kid, Mr. Consistent.